Yeah, one of the ideas that Naval has that I have been grappling with and probably disagree with at this point is that you should really focus on the foundations. I think it's rationally true, behaviorally false. And what I mean by that is he says that you should just study the basics in every field, learn those, and then only later begin to work up to the other stuff. But the fact of the matter is, I just don't think that there's a lot of people who can actually follow through on that. And I'm not even sure that Naval is following through on that as much as he implies with that quote. He brings up a good line that you mentioned in the book where he talks about all the people who have read biology books but they've never read Darwin, all the people who are familiar with the latest economics papers but they've never read Adam Smith. That is a good point about the foundational texts, but there's something about Naval's insistence of focusing on these foundational books which I just don't think are practical ways to learn that somebody's actually going to implement, and maybe even himself.
Yeah, interesting. I have no way of knowing what's on Naval's Kindle, or where he reads and spends his time. I know that Naval, like Munger, is a fan of the iron prescription. He will tell you
Hmm.
the most rigorous thing that you can and should do, and if you can do it, good for you. You'll be a cut above.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do it. Not everybody does. Not everybody will. No problem. But if you're up for it, that's what you should be doing. Or that is the best thing that he can think of to recommend. I think, you are very right in that, like, some people, it's harder to read Darwin than it is to read an article written about Darwin. Like, it just is. And sometimes you don't have the willpower or the motivation to get through that foundational text. It's hard to, start at Socrates and work your way all the way back, all the way up. Some
Mm-hmm.
translations are garbage. But if you look at some of the people who are the most successful, you'll see that as a pattern, that they have like a deep command of the fundamentals. You see Talib going back to like learning languages to read the originals because he doesn't trust the translations. Or Elon Musk starting over with rocket science from first principles and formulas to
Mm-hmm.
see whether or not you can actually just use a missile to get into space. Um, but tactically, I think it is important to understand, like, it'll take me a year to get through the Intelligent Investor. I just don't want to read the foundational
Mm-hmm.
things, but I want to learn about investing. Um, and then your choices are, you either choose something easier that you'll actually get through and risk not having that fundamental knowledge and being outplayed by somebody who does, or you decide that this really is the most important thing for you to study, and I'm going to make it through this thing, and it's going to be hard, but once I do, I'll be much more capable of kind of whatever comes next. And you can't do it in every category for every topic. And so it forces you to kind of focus and choose where to apply your willpower. And I don't think that's a bad thing.